Okay, this will be my final video for April 2020 Paper Pumpkin Alternatives. And this is the card I'm going to be making. And it was a fun card to make. Let me show you how I did it. Started with Whisper White Thick. This is cut 5 by 7, scored at 3.5 to make a 3.5 by 5 note card. Stampin' Up! Sells these note cards with envelopes in their catalog, so you don't have to cut it down yourself. So that's the base card. On that base card, I am using some of the Designer Series paper called Mosaic Madness. It's on its way out. It's one of the discontinued products, but it is still available if you want to get some. And I have just cut one that has the colors that I wanted. My original uses a different pattern, but I was out of that, so I just chose a different one. And we're going to attach that to the front of the card. And it has been cut just 1/4 inch smaller all the way around, so it is 3.25 by 4.75. And we're just going to put that down flat on the front of the card like that. Okay, we're going to set that aside and move on to the next piece. This is just a piece of Whisper White regular. I cut it out using the Stitched So Sweetly dies, and I used the largest rectangle shape die to cut it out. So it has that lovely little scallop and those stitches all around, and that's what we're going to attach our tree to, so that is going to be used. But first we need to make our tree. And I've shared in other videos that I own a Silhouette Cameo, and I have scanned these shapes into my Cameo and cut them out. And there's 2 ways you can do this. You can, if you're doing it like me, like I am, with pieces cut out by this Cameo first, then I can typically use like the Stamp-A-Majig, which is an old tool that's been discontinued, or I'm just going to take my chances and I'm just going to stamp it on there. You can also just stamp this on Whisper White cardstock and fussy cut it. That's up to you. I just like to share that I do have the ability to do that and to give people options to use that tool if they have it. I think that looks just fine. And then because I want it to have a little bit of off shading, I'm going to stamp it again without re-inking, and that gives it the fill that I want it to have. Then I also have the little tree trunk that I cut out, and we're going to do the same thing with that. We're just going to stamp it without the Stamp-A-Majig. I'm hoping I can do it. I'm going to get my head in here. Sorry if you see the back of my head. Trying to line it up. I didn't do too bad. Maybe a little bit off. You know what? That can be touched up just fine. You could just color it with a brush or a dauber as well. So I'm just going to touch up the parts I missed. Just wanted to show you some options, you know. It's just, I'm going to throw some little extra tone on tone in here. Just adds a little bit of tone for that. I might even go back with this darker early espresso and just add some little marks there. So that's the tree and the trunk. And I am going to attach those with dimensionals to the card, to the art piece. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on here and a couple of them on the trunk. I think I'm going to switch to minis on that trunk because I don't want them to show. So I'm going to switch to putting minis on that tree trunk right there like that. Got an extra one stuck to me. So this is going to go on here kind of towards the top and just centered in there. And then the trunk will go on just like so. That looks good. And then I used across the piece here, this piece right here, that's a piece of old olive ribbon. It comes in the new Ornate Orchard Suite. It's a really nice 1/4-inch ribbon, and that's what I'm going to use to put around the bottom here. I'm just going to cut it slightly bigger than the card itself. And then I am going to grab a piece of scratch paper, and I am going to put Tombow down the full length of my tape, of my ribbon, I should say, so that it will stay laying down nice and flat on the front of the card, and stick the extra to the back. So that puts the ribbon on there. Then I've got my sentiment, and it's called A Little Note. Oh, and see, I told you, sometimes I have to let you watch me make mistakes. I'm going to pull this up because I need to make room for the sentiment. So let's put the sentiment on. A little note. And then we will reattach this just a little bit higher so that it will get it straight. There we go. That looks better. And I have got a little bit of tape there that I didn't want. Let's see if I can find my eraser. I can't find it. Okay, well, I do have a tape eraser that will take that little bit off. We'll just do our best to clean it off here. And so yeah, you get to see my faux pas. And then I wanted to add a bird. So I am going to add one of these birds from the kit on there. And again, they can be attached with a dimensional. This mini dimensionals fit right there in the widest part of his body and won't show from the front. So I'm going to put him on there, or her on there. I don't know which it is, a he or a she, who knows. And that's finished. Then I'm going to take this piece and I am going to attach it to the front of the card with dimensionals. Here's my card front. And I'm going to attach that with dimensionals. Like I say, I could edit out my mistakes and you'd never know I made them. But you know what? We all make them. We all have our little opportunities. So I'll come back in a little bit and I'm going to fix that. But for now, there is the card. And it's just as cute can be. Hope you enjoyed the video.